it was anything under the sky, which you could go and talk with him. And I'm saying he's still my mentor and would be throughout my life. Whenever I have taken my major decisions, I have always gone back to him to get his view on that. Can you imagine a board of studies member sitting throughout the day and thoroughly going through the documents which we had submitted for review before coming to the meeting? And after meeting, again, the revised documents he would go through again and critically examine it, and things which you might think are minor, capitalization, how you have put, say, pharmacology 1, how is that number 1 written? How is the flow of the course designed? What are the expected outcomes? So looking at that and guiding on each step. And when the university administration used to see the way the meetings are going on, they were surprised that this kind of advisory board or board of studies meeting can also happen. And many of them happened online, where students cannot sit for, say, 50 minutes in a class. Sir sitting and all my board sitting over there from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, with hardly, say, bio breaks and lunch break. And if it is defined as a 10-minute break, everyone was back there in 10 minutes. So why I am telling this? So at this age, with all his stature, the recognition he has received across the world, his humbleness, his dedication to the profession, that is immeasurable. He was the founder member of NIPER Mohali, the first faculty to be appointed in NIPER Mohali, and at that time he was teaching us in Punjab University. And you'll be surprised, like when those plans were being made, some of those were also discussed in our classrooms. How the campus is coming up, what are the plans for that institute, which would be the first institute of pharmaceutical sciences of national importance. So, as I am saying, that it was not just the subject that was discussed, it was everything under the sky, and it cannot be just the subject. You learn more outside the classroom than just inside about the subject. There's a video on YouTube which Sir's students created for him last year when he retired from NIPER Mohali. He has served NIPER as head of pharmaceutical analysis. He was dean of NIPER. He also acted as director of NIPER. He has been mentor to new NIPERs and helped them come up, and advisor to a lot of committees of Government of India. So be it research, be it teaching, and the way he taught, it was never confined to textbooks. So let us aspire to be a faculty like him, and students should aspire to follow the footstep and the experience he will share with us over the next 2 days. We'll have 2 talks from Professor Singh. Besides that, we'll have faculty interactions. If students want to come and meet, after this session, there would be a question-answer session. Please feel free to ask questions. Do not have any inhibition in asking questions. You would say it's a very non-characteristic introduction, but that's the person he is. So there cannot be a characteristic introduction for him. Go through the video on YouTube. It's a 57-minute video. There was an article published in a journal on Sir's achievements by his students. Go through that. So I think that defines his teacher and his connect with the students. We have Dr. Yuvraj also here. So Dr. Yuvraj is a product of NIPER. So he was also student of Sir, and the environment which NIPER has is very different. So with these words, thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and being with us. And I would also like to thank Yuvraj, Dr. Rohini Pujari, Pankaj, and all others who helped in creating this event. And I'm sure this would be a memorable session for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jin sir, for such a brief introduction. Now I will request all the dignitaries on dais to felicitate Professor Saranjit Singh. Thank you, everyone. Now it's a time for the talk which we were eagerly waiting to listen. But yes, we don't only have to listen to the talk, but we have to interact. So I request Professor Saranjit Singh to lighten us with your valuable words.
I'm sorry, I am leaving to say hello to other students in other rooms, and I will come back. It will then more easy interaction if I do that. I get less chance to interact with students. So it's my longing to be with you today. And of course, I always request the faculty members and colleagues also to be present, so that something which I make an effort to prepare as a presentation and some words of wisdom that I want to share may be helpful to everybody. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Neeraj and everybody for the nice words spoken over here and making possible that I am with you for 2 days. Now, for any speaker, it is always a difficult task when there is a mixed type of students of different courses, pharmacy or psychology or otherwise. But I will try to focus on my experience with pharmacy. And essentially this talk is targeted to students. The only unfortunate part of my being standing before you today is I don't have a collar mic to move around. I have been fixed to do podium. No. Doesn't matter, Neeraj, it will be handled, don't worry. So, what is my plan? First plan is that I kept my watch and mobile over there. I told the students in the next room also that I don't look to the watch when I'm speaking. The reason is, don't be rushing for that, hey, he's not closing, not closing, not closing. I will make sure that you don't get bored. The session is lively. Yesterday I was at D.Y. Patil Institute, where I started in the morning at around 10 o'clock, finished at 1:30. Inaugural keynote speech at Stuti program, they started on instrumentation. Then started at 2:30 and finished at 6:30 in the afternoon for another lecture. Continuous standing for 7-8 hours. As long as the students were not ready to leave me with their interaction they wanted for the queries they had. Yesterday morning it was more of a morning scientific lecture, and then the lecture on career options and other things. Here also I have split the presentation into two parts. Half of it will be today delivered now, and rest tomorrow. There is a linkage in the two, and each individual, including the faculty members, my request to you is be present tomorrow also, otherwise you will be missing something. Certainly you will be missing something. The start I want to make before I go to today's agenda is that this is the question I asked yesterday also. I can ask today also, and students be ready to answer that question before I go to other questions. What are you doing for taking this country forward? Can anybody answer among the students? Very simple. Do you want your country to be the best in the world? Yes, no. Are you contributing to growth of the country? Yes, no. Madam in the front is saying yes. She is teaching the students, making them good citizens, making them good professionals. She is saying yes. But students, what are you doing? All the time on mobiles? In the classroom? What else is you are doing for the growth of this country? Very simple. Anybody? Anybody? No one interested to come up? Had I been in your chair, I would have stood up and said, "Sir, we are taking our best education, trying to be good professionals. We are doing some extracurriculars, some social service of some sort, and yet we have to make our dreams, decide how to be contributing best to the country." I think you are in that stage. Yes or no? Your path is not yet clear. How you will contribute to the growth of the country? This is not the question only with respect to country, it is with respect to your insecurity. What is your future? What professional profession is going to give you once you have your B.Pharm degree, master's or PhD degree? What is your prospects of getting a good job? And also, tagged with good job is the good matrimonial prospect. Yes or no? Good earning, handsome earning, good wife, good husband. But it's a far off. You know it's a far off. But you ask the front row people, they will say, yes, it really helped. Yes or no? It helped. So friends, to understand what profession offers you, how important you are in the profession, my first day's agenda is titled as You Are the Fortunate Ones. Now, if I had given this presentation to freshers somewhere at Chandigarh University. The title was You Are Fortunate One. I was targeting to each individual. You are fortunate one. There is a change over here. You are the fortunate ones because half of the audience is in the next hall. So that's collectively, everyone is a fortunate one, and collectively you are the fortunate ones. Can you imagine why I've said this? You are the fortunate ones. I know 90% of students among you are still thinking, was the pharmacy a best choice? Yes or no? Am I really a fortunate person? Okay. Why I say so? That you are the fortunate ones. Because you have opted pharma for your higher education. You are the fortunate ones. You agree with me or not? Madam, you are saying yes. How about the rest of our citizenry of this country, young citizenry of this country? Anji, what do you say? Are you fortunate ones or not? Nothing. Not for the sake of pleasing the front chair people. From the heart. Now, the truth will come out. Wait for it. Truth will come out. So my straight question to you all is, now raise hands. Now raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, bhed chal. Good. Yes, yes, full. Don't. If you are fortunate one, you consider it was a choice, say yes. Now, maybe 10 hands. I don't know how about the number of hands in the next hall. It will be similar. It is not going to be bigger in number. Thanks. So this is happening everywhere I go. Yesterday, there were 250 students in the hall. Unfortunately, today we are in a smaller hall, bifurcated. In that hall, only 5 students raised hands that we came to pharma with choice, by our choice. So, if that is a state of affair, today you are fortunate that sometimes I find that there is no student raising hand, one hand is raised, or a few multiple hands are raised. And today, fortunately, you are in this category. How can we take our country forward when the student gets into a stream which is not of choice? That's a trauma for we professionals. Let us try to analyze the whole situation. It is not only your case. This is what is some slide I've taken from the net. At +2 level, you are trying your best to get into choice subjects, but if you are unable to, there's a fate with 50% of the students who are not even confident of what they will be. And the same is the situation now with you people sitting in the hall, what we would be. How many of you now aspire to become a doctor? Raise hands. No one? Yes. Who got tuitions to sit a NEET exam? Who tried their best? Again, same number of hands. But did your parents wanted you to become a doctor? Now raise hands where your parents insisted you to become a doctor. I think it is the same situation with front, the children are growing. They want them to be either doctor or engineer. There is a community over here, Osho community over here in Pune, large community. Voice.
निश्चित हमारा काम ही अनूठी चीजों का। क्या अनूठी चीज? मेरे पास एक कुत्ता है जो एक आदमी एक सूटकेस लेके सर्कस के मैनेजर के कमरे में गया और उसने कहा कि क्या आप अनूठी चीजों में उत्सुक हैं? मैनेजर ने कहा कि निश्चित हमारा काम ही अनूठी चीजों का। क्या अनूठी चीज? मेरे पास एक कुत्ता है जो पियानो बजाता है। मैनेजर की तो आंखें फटी रही, कुत्ता कहाँ है? उसने सूटकेस खोला, एक छोटा सा कुत्ता उसमें से निकला और एक छोटा सा पियानो उसने निकाला सूटकेस में से, पियानो रख दिया और वो कुत्ता बैठ के पियानो बजाने लगा। क्या गजब का साज उसने छेड़ा। मैनेजर तो भौचक्का रह गया, सांस रुकी की रुकी रह गई। बहुत खेल देखे थे दुनिया में उसने, काम ही उसका ये था। इसी तरह की चीजों पर उसका सर्कस चलता था। और तभी एक बड़ा कुत्ता अंदर आया और उस छोटे कुत्ते की गर्दन उसने पकड़ी और बाहर ले गया। मैनेजर तो देखते रह गया, वो आदमी भी देखते। मैनेजर ने कहा भाई ये मामला क्या है, ये कौन कुत्ता है? उसने कहा ये इसकी मां, वो उसको डॉक्टर बनाना चाहती।
I think you are now very interesting. I got this as a WhatsApp message and I thought of putting it into the presentation. The two streams truly have eclipsed all other subjects. I am not speaking slides, I am not reading slides because they are so simple. Let it be a slideshow where you can read yourself. And this is also, I respect the teachers, as a learning of my experience of making the presentation and delivering should also be learned if you wish to. Read from here, start from here, go to here and then go to there. Mr. Ganesh, Dr. Ganesh Chaudhary, if he is in a hall. ये आपका है ना? I am not undermining the importance, disclaimer, I'm not undermining the importance of a doctor. Hello, hello, okay. Last bench, last row, good. So, last row, voice, okay, good. So it says a doctor studies for 10 to 15 years to be a doctor. Draconian laws and acts, under which medical medicine and all others, lot of discipline required. No family life, you get a call, emergency call at the night, 2 o'clock, you have call. Then harassment by police and politicians and attacks by patient relatives. There was a news even before I started from my place. There was a news about attack on a clinic because the clinic was not open in time by the law. So this is a daily routine that is happening. Government has still to make laws against this, and already a PAL is filing this. That because it will be displayed in the next but this portion is done. Thank you. Okay. Rate this hot engineering. I am acting as a clever person to bring you all to pharma. Nothing. If the engineer would not have been there, you will not have this building. They have their role. My father, 1974 was the time, the year when I completed my plus two. If senior people in the hall remember, it was known as pre-university prep and pre-medical. So named as pre-engineering or pre-medical. So in 1974, my father wanted me, what do you want to be? Tell me, what is your choice? I said, I leave on you, you are the best people to judge what I should be, and you will just look into best interest of mine. He says, yes, you can be a doctor, but I said, no, not like this. Let us go to a few doctors and check out whether they recommend to me to be a doctor. So, my father was a teacher in Punjab University, and PGI, the main hospital, was the next opposite road. Opposite to the road, the main hospital, Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research. He took me some of the non-doctors over there, each of them suggesting, don't make your son a doctor. So I believed in and left the place to be a doctor. But this was before that there were 2 life incidents that had happened, which slowly changed my whole perspective of the profession I should pursue. The first one was life-threatening osteomyelitis when I was 8 years old. Osteomyelitis disease is the infection of the bone, where there is a, due to infection, decay of bone, the bone converts to pus, and decayed bone starts coming out of your body through some channel it opens up. So this has happened at my left foot. And doctors at that time told my family members, father, mother, there is no cure, he cannot be saved, he will not be able to survive, you take him to home, we are helpless. So I was brought home, breathing in pain, acute pain. I remember those days. They will put a bandage on because the pus should not spread everywhere. And the pain was so huge that I used to rush out of home. And but the unbearable situation that because parents are helpless, and I wanted that I should go out and somebody sees my misery and then helps me out. That was the situation as a small kid. Incidentally, my mother was a homeopath, and she tried her few medicines initially, subsequently, nothing was working. One day when she could not see my torture happening, the pain, she closed her eyes, prayed to God that this is my younger child. Why you want to take him away? Please suggest me some medicine. Put anything into my mind that can cure my child. All the doctors are refused, no cure. Believe me, a medicine comes in her mind, instills a few drops of homeopathic liquid into my mouth. Within 2 hours, I was playing and now standing before you. The power of medicine. Which reason is that I am before you today? The scar of this is still on my left foot, from where this bone used to come out. Then in 1974, we have gone to the PTI and everywhere to discuss with the doctors what to adopt, what to not happen. I had given the final exams of pre-medical, that is 12th plus 2. Theory exams are over, practicals were going on, and it was the last practical. It was over, and I was driving from one end of the city where my college was, from Chandigarh, and to the other end of the city where my residence was. And I was cycling now after the last practical, very happy that exams are over, free, tension is gone. This would have happened with you also. You must have felt very relieved when the final exams were done. Enjoying in a light mood, riding cycle back home. But those were the days, now I don't see that temperature. It was 45 degrees on road. Loo was there. And suddenly there was a dust storm due to very high temperature. And in a light mood, driving the cycle, I didn't care because I had to open the eyes, keep my eyes open to continue riding the cycle. Some dust got into my eyes. And still, carelessness, I just rubbed the eyes from the lid. It was fine. When I reached home, I could reach home easily, no issues. But when I reached home, by that time, some small redness was started. And by that evening, the redness increased. So my father took me to emergency of PGI. And they said, we don't have ophthalmologist in the emergency. You go to the eye ward where you'll find some doctors on duty. It was evening around 8 o'clock. The doctor said there is a injury on the cornea. And I am writing antibiotic, you take, instill that, and you will be okay. None, that was gentamicin, that was prescribed to me. I started instilling into my eye. Unfortunately for me, it showed allergic reaction, which I was not aware that is showing allergic reaction. What happened was that when I woke up in the morning, the eye redness has increased. Water was flowing from the right eye. But doctor has said it will be okay, you continue instilling it. So I continued for a day or two instilling the same. But redness didn't come down. So we went again to OPD this time because morning time next day. The doctor said doesn't matter because it is to arrest the infection, let it show the allergic reaction, don't mind, but go on instilling. Now, maybe it was a junior doctor who attended and he told me continue instilling in it. After 5 days, I had to be taken back to PGI because now inflammation increased and visibility was getting slightly affected. The junior doctor saw on their ophthalmoscope and everything what is the state of the eye, and I was taken to head of the department. The head of the department also very carefully examined my eye and said to my father, sorry that he has got fungal infection on the cornea and we don't have medicine for it. Only medicine that is available, has been invented, is available in Holland. So he advised my father to rush to Delhi at 45-degree temperature, which my father told me later when he came back with no drug, imported drug. He screened every chemist shop which was keeping imported drugs. What was available was some suspension, vaginal cream or that kind of thing. Not useful for eye. So he came back, he said, Saranjit, you have brought down my life by 2 years, the time I spent in Delhi searching every chemist shop. See the father telling me that I was the cause of that pain to him. Whatever. So, no medicine available, imported, not in India, ophthalmic. So the Dr. I.S. Chan, who was the head of the department on that day, he advised me to get admitted to Rajendra Prasad Eye Institute in Ames, Delhi. Because he said better in Delhi because somewhere they will be able to manage imported medicine. We had some connection with Mr. Krishan Kant, who was MP from Chandigarh and became later the Vice President of India. He used to fight his election in Chandigarh from our home. So my father called him that he has been advised, my son has been advised to be admitted in Ames. So I said, don't worry, you bring him. On Sunday evening, we reached Delhi and directly went to the Rajendra Prasad Eye Hospital, and Mr. Krishan Kant and the director of that center were both waiting for me. I was admitted directly, and the therapy started, which was again very torturous. They will now take a surgical blade and scrap off fungal infection from my cornea. and they will lift up this upper lid and give injections inside of gentamicin, waiting for the medicine. And it was just, infection was localized below the pupil. They said if it spreads, we don't contain it and don't scrap it. If it spreads, then only way is corneal transplant. Think of a situation, young boy with his dreams, after 12th, gets into this torture, and incidentally that the room I was there was a already corneal transplant patient opposite to my bed. And he was again a sick boy whose long hair was tied up with a brick. And at that time, stitches were not that refined as we have today. And he was not allowed to move his head like this even. Straight, confined. Because fragility of stitches at that time, today they send back you home within 2 days, 1 day. But it was not that situation in 1974. I was terrified. If it happens to me and I have to stay in that situation for 2 or 3 weeks long, what will be my fate? But thankfully to Mr. Krishnakant, what he did was, he being an MP, he put a slip into Dr. Karan Singh, Union Health Minister at that time. He was by chance going to Holland for taking a delegation, health delegation, and get the medicine 5th day, Longman's bedside. It was netamycin, brand name was pymafusine. Blame my friends. I don't know how it happened, what God was on my side this time also. That tube of 5 grams got finished in within 3, 4, 5 days because they were instilling 3 times a day. And another tube, I think again as a tribute to the delegation that had gone for making further documentation or whatever thing. Another person went to Holland and brought another medicine. Thanks to Dr. Karan Singh that he will be needing more of it. It came by my bedside. So I was healed, and this is the scar that still I have under my pupil in the right eye. Down in the bed, I promised myself, if this is the role of a medicine, I will do pharmacy. That commitment, life incident commitment, made me attracted towards pharmacy to build that as a career. So this helped me to decide pharma as my first and only choice. I'm thankful to people, the students who have raised hands. I don't know what was their motivation. They can tell their stories. Sometimes, Neeraj, you can ask them to tell their stories, what really brought them. If you have inspiration of that kind, which I will say your destiny wanted to come to this profession, and if you believe in destiny, then I would say you are the fortunate ones. Your destiny has brought you to pharma profession. And I would say there have been no regrets all through my life. Never looked into somebody is a good doctor with a huge practice, highly respected. So if you two are good, but that changes your culture, your way of life, that you do your best to the profession if you are committed. Neeraj was talking so much about me. I am no one. I am destined to be here today, to be before you. I brought this paper from my out pocket. And this I do every time. Today's is my 567th invited lecture, where I delivered all through the world. Still I have prayers written over here, which I read before I stand. And this prayer says, I can read if I don't know whether you will be understand Punjabi. The word meaning is that whatever God you will give me wisdom to spell out from my mouth and lips. I'm thankful to that. I will speak that. So, friends, you have to have ego down and believe in destiny. If you do that, you had a prayer. I was also closed my eyes. Maybe I had Sanskrit in schooling. I am also a product of DAV school, where Kapil Dev was my contemporary. But the question comes over here is when it is prayer, whether the prayer is not that if I am fully understanding it. Prayer is that you're from heart to thank God. God is same. God is one. So if we get that motto, I think it's a huge learning. And you will, if you shed your egos of any kind and you leave on God, God will have a good track for you, laid down for you. The beauty is that from the 1960s, where we are totally dependent on drugs import from Western world, we are today the most prime pharma sector in the world, supplying low cost quality generic medicine to the world. Look into this slide. Compare this. This is a list of drugs for various diseases, the patented medicine and the cost in US, and what generic medicine is supplied by India. Just give a comparison over here, 11,545 and 111. This is 49,000 compared to 151. How many times is the cost that a US citizen has to pay for patented medicine, although it is covered by insurance? But the cost of insurance is that you can buy 3 Maruti cars. I think Neeraj and others, they are knowing, Yogaraj is knowing it, they have been there. What is the cost of insurance, of health insurance particularly over there? Now if I have to pay, an Indian citizen have to pay for any drug which is $49,000, I have to sell my house. If there is a disease that strikes you. India is a big savior to the patients of the world by supplying low cost, high quality generic medicines. It's very, very important to understand this. We are the 3rd largest by volume and 14th largest in terms of value across the world. More important is every 3rd pill consumed in the world is from India. I think these things might have been told by your teachers at some stage of time. I am reinforcing it. We are known as a pharmacy of the world. 80% of developing country antiretrovirals are generics produced in India. AIDS disease came from the West. We are the saviors to the AIDS patient all over the world. For the year 1920, the total annual turnover for the industry was near to 3 lakh crores. And exports were half of that quantity. We export medicines to 206 countries. What is the total number of countries in the world? General knowledge question. Karo Google yaar. This is what way I teach in the class. Anywhere we stuck up. See, I tell you, there are two type of people who are successful in the world. There are two kind of people who are successful. One are who remember everything by heart, and others who have easy access to information. ठीक है, आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, मैंने गूगल किया, 2 मिनट में बता दिया. If I don't remember it, yes. For teachers, I used to have a ready reckoner file always with me throughout my profession. Sir, I am sorry, my friends. Sometimes I always speak Punj English, Punjabi English. My wife always tells me, yeah, you go for public speaking. Sometimes you say career. No, it is career. It's career. Use the right pronunciation. So somehow, forgive me if I am sometimes in between career or career in between if I am speaking. Forgive me. So what is the number? Have you anybody check? How many? So how we can send it to 260? What is the latest figure? I have always encouraged mobiles in the class. Information. It should be around this number. I don't know what is the exact number myself because I never remember figures. I don't know even the phone number of my son, phone number of my wife. I really now remembered forcibly myself. Very poor in names and figures. Okay. Of course, we are now leader in vaccine manufacturing and cater to greater than 60% of the global vaccine demand. Again, we export vaccines to more than 150 countries. This realization came to our top people recently that what pharma sector can do wonders in the case of disastrous situation, disease situation which affects large population and can lead to deaths in large numbers. So India's pharma industry is an asset for entire world, says our Vati Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Even in the budget, union budget of 2002, Indian pharma's industry was recognized as the sunrise sector for India's economy and is expected to grow threefold over the next decade. So in 2024, it is expected to grow from 3 lakh crore to 5 lakh plus crores. This is a slide I picked from one of the presentations from Medicine Sans Frontiers. This is an international NGO which says the medicine invented anywhere in the world should not be restricted to that country, should be available to the patient of that disease for which medicine has been invented at low cost anywhere in the world. Why humanity should suffer or a patient should suffer any corner of the world if a medicine is available somewhere? No barriers should be there. So what it says is don't shut down the pharmacy of the developing world. What I'm trying to highlight is the India's strength in the pharma sector. This should be a good news to you. With this growth that is being expected, there is a huge volume of numbers of jobs that are going to be offered to the students. That's why no seat is vacant in India today in pharma colleges. every seat is being grabbed up by the students. Pharmacy Council of India has a chart on its website which gives you the various opportunities after you are done with your various courses related to pharma. It is in the practice settings, it is in other settings like academics, clinical research, regulatory, and then industry. Industry alone offers you more than 100 job roles to a pharma student. Because it's a mixed bag of students over here, I have put intentionally this slide, the next slide, to show you the job avenues based on degree you are going to earn. Read this slide on your own and try to understand. So it means based on the degree, whether it is B.Pharm, D.Pharm, PharmD, or higher M.Pharm, PhD, you have the scope of employment accordingly. Like in pharma faculty, in academia, if it is to be B.Pharm to be taught, you can have a good M.Pharm. Or good institute always prefer PhDs, because their way of communicating with students, their 5 years into research, the perspective of the profession is very different than a fresh M.Pharm student. Marketing sector in industry is one of the major employer. Each company have 8 to 10,000 of medical representatives, the bigger company, top 200 companies. So the number of jobs in marketing is the largest number among the jobs on offer. Unfortunately or fortunately, as the time required, our education went into industry orientation from the very start. The reason is India had a large population. And due to that large population, India needed drugs and we had a lot of poverty. And to feed the poor and have the drug availability. Now, if you look into the US FDA website today and or European Medicine Agency EMA website, look into the shortages of drugs. You'll find that 300 drugs in any shortage today in US. India chemist shops are flooded with brands. For the same drug, there will be 20 brands available in a chemist shop. Have you ever felt shortage of drugs in this country? Or shortage of anything? India is such a fortunate country that you don't find shortage of anything. You want to have a 25 rupees toy, a poor man can have 5 rupees toy or 5 million toy. That is also available for the person who can afford it. It's a beauty of our country. For every strata of society, you have availability of daily needs. That's why I say, you must keep confidence in your country and try to take it forward. So our whole in 1960s, APIs were coming, active drugs were coming from abroad, and like you people have in your labs, single punch tableting machine, people put those machines, single punch machines into their garages and started manufacturing tablets. small scale industry propped up. Our education over the time also got industry oriented as the industry became organized. No time other than diploma in pharmacy, our clinical orientation at the bachelor level developed. In 2008, the Pharmacy Council of India thought that we should launch PharmD to prepare excellent clinical pharmacists in US or other places. PharmD was the emphasis all through, and they had a bachelor program in BS Pharm, from where we at NIPER had picked up the degree MS Pharm. So BS Pharm degree was for industry, but otherwise it was PharmD all over. And they were specialists to stand with the doctor shoulder to shoulder to help and comment on the prescription written by the doctor. There are a lot of drugs which can interact with each other. Lot of dosing requirement adjustments have to be done from patient to patient. So there was a total emphasis on clinical pharmacist. Now the encouraging situation that is developing is, this is from Fortis Hospital, Mulund, Mumbai. They have advertised for the post of a person in a hospital who is a PharmD and a right clinical pharmacist in Fortis Hospital. Now, as our number of private hospitals are growing and we go into medical tourism, the hospitals want that the clinical pharmacist should be available in the ward along with the doctor to look into the best practice of prescribing. They can challenge, a clinical pharmacist can challenge a doctor on the prescription he has written. I will give you some examples here of the big role or specific categories of pharma professionals. First, pharmacists, whether you say diploma or PharmD people, whom we label as pharmacists, they are supposed to be highly trained to evaluate medication use, communicate with other healthcare providers, prepare and dispense medications, and educate patients about those medications. Unfortunately, in India, we don't have a discipline. Otherwise, every chemist shop where you have to have a licensed pharmacist needs to be in a white coat. There are many patients who directly go to the chemist and ask for the drug or advise that I am having a diarrhea, I am having a sore throat, give me medicine. They don't want to go to the doctor. They directly take advice of them and take the drug and prescription from the, although not written prescription, but dispensed medicine. We have failed to create a respect of pharma fraternity when they are in opposite to the public. The public respects the doctors as gods, but they don't realize the importance of pharmacists, because somehow, somewhere our regulation is not that stringent. Our implementation of regulation is not that stringent, that we are not able to earn the respect being directly in opposite to the public. Now, in May 2016, a report was published in British Medical Journal, which said that medical errors may now be the third leading cause of death in the United States, claiming 251,000 lives every year, medication errors. In developed countries like US, we don't know what is happening in India. We don't have the data. How many deaths happen due to medication errors? Hey doctor, what? How I read this? It is paracetamol. What is this? Now doctors are getting into their own problems. They have a huge rush of patients. If you are a very qualified, very efficient doctor, हम कहते हैं जिसके हाथ में सफा होती है, and if he's a good doctor having a good therapeutic outcome through the treatment what he gives, he doesn't have time to write to even the prescriptions properly because of the rush of the patient. Now this is a new nonsense coming up, that pharmacist has to really understand the language, the way he is prescribing. So there are 11 stages where medication errors can happen, prescription errors can happen. Prescribing, prescription order communication, like I've shown in the previous slide. Product labeling, packaging and nomenclature, compounding, dispensing, distribution, administration, education, monitoring and use. See, my friends, student young minds, don't take it lightly. It can happen to any one of you. Medication errors can lead to a situation which you can lead to deathbed. It's a very, very serious issue where pharmacist role comes into the picture. In all these 11 stages, there's a role of a pharmacist. Now, I'd like to show you a virtual tool of the role of pharmacist in healthcare as a general. It's not an Indian video, but
we're pharmacists who are passionate about making your health a top priority because we're people who care about people. It means really getting to know you and mapping out the best solutions for your health. It's being accessible whenever you need us, wherever is most convenient. It's working with the other healthcare professionals who know you best to provide you with a top healthcare plan. It's using a vast knowledge base to give you advice on health issues extending far beyond medications, like detecting dangerous symptoms and suggesting timely interventions. We're here to help you live your healthiest life. We're your pharmacist. Accessible, knowledgeable, indispensable.
I think we need to appreciate the role of a pharmacist in the society. It's multifarious. The number is huge in the country. And the role they are playing to maintain the healthcare in the system is very, very important. Let's go to the other category of pharmaceutical scientists. So they are trained to design, discover and develop drug substances and products. So you are all aware by now the drug development process, because I don't have freshers over here. You know drug discovery and development process, where molecules are invented, goes to preclinical research, clinical submission of dossier to US FDA or Indian FDA for approval, and then it goes to the market, and then continuous market survey of how the drug is behaving when it is been taken by patients, and there are a lot of data is collected. Now, what is the total effort that goes in inventing new medicine where the pharmaceutical scientists are involved, discovering a new molecule? This was the picture I clicked through my old mobile phone at Amsterdam airport, where I went for a lecture. While returning, I saw this and I clicked the picture. You can see at the back some activity, plane activity and all that going on. It said it was from the Roche, inventing one new medicine. This many of CHF investment, CHF, which is Swiss francs, these many hours of work, these many experiments, these many research, and then you get one medicine. Today, the cost of inventing new medicine anywhere between 10,000 to 20,000 crores. This is the total turnover revenue of our major Indian company. They cannot push all the revenue to drug discovery. That's why in India we have less effort on drug discovery for the moment due to the high cost involved. These many hours of work, if we divide for 3 shifts, it comes to 12 to 13 years. These many experiments and then these many researchers and one medicine. So this is the what I have put. Actual today price it is 8,500 crores in Indian rupees, and this is 33 years divided by 3 shifts is 11 years. Think of a situation had my eye treatment required medicine was not invented, I would have lost the eye. And somebody who has done that invention has spent this amount of money and got free of cost on my bedside. And saved my eye. And there is a role of pharmaceutical scientists, directly those who play and do research. I am showing you the video. It is somewhere silent initially. Read the message that are given. And it is again virtual tour of the drug discovery research and pharmaceutical science at Roche.
Life writes the questions. We look for the answers. In the last 100 plus years, Roche has pioneered many medical breakthroughs. Our investments in research not only earned us Nobel Prizes, but also laid the foundation for some groundbreaking therapies in oncology. Today, Roche contributes on a broad range of fronts to improving people's health and quality of life. We focus on disease areas of high unmet medical need. Every treatment starts with a diagnosis, and the more accurate the diagnosis, the better the chances of providing effective therapy. With its combined expertise in both diagnostics and pharmaceuticals, Roche is uniquely positioned to tailor treatments to specific patient populations. Drawing on advances in molecular biology and pharmacogenetics, Roche is moving closer and closer to making personalized healthcare a reality.
So friends, why I picked up? Because I could correlate with the previous presentation, and this is a very small glimpse. I have clipped the whole video of around lengthy video of 30 minutes to 1 minute. It is a hell of an activity to bring a new molecule, where there is a definite role of pharmaceutical scientists. Come to the industrial pharmacists. We train industrial pharmacists, we run the courses so that they are professionally trained to manufacture quality drug substances and products. I will highlight on how a pharmacist working in industry can help large number of population in the country. Now, look into this advertisement by one of the tablet manufacturing company. It is talking of rotary tablet press machine. You might have been exposed to a single punch handheld, not rotary, but single hand, single punch machine. It's saying maximum output up to 5,40,000 tablets per hour for 75 cents. My friends, multiply by 24 hours, multiplied by 30 days, multiplied by 12. How many millions and billions of tablets are produced by this machine? One. Imagine a situation, my friends. Again, please give the attention, not talking yourself. How many patients will be a doctor be able to see in his lifetime? 25,000? 50,000 at the max? How many lives you are touching? And if that billions of tablets, somehow those batches come out to be low quality, imagine the role a pharmacist plays in the society at the back end. Doctors are giving you prescription, but pharmacist, how many lives it touches? Unimaginable. I don't need, in National Pharmacy Week, I don't need to take you on the road to tell pharmacy is a vital link between doctors and patients. Why I should? I should be confident that huge responsibility on my shoulders for the health of the citizenry of the countries by producing good quality drugs. I don't need to popularize myself, advertise myself. I have my moral responsibility which I am performing. Only what we need to do is, as teachers, go to schools celebrating the National Pharmacy Week. I had recently visited 10 government schools. Capture the students and tell them what pharmaceutical and what we pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists or industrial pharmacists do. Then more hands will be raised once they are committed. And then you see the wonders committed people do. So millions of these tablets eventually play an important role as part of armamentary of physicians to treat their patients. Physicians, other than surgery, what physicians are, if they write prescription, no drug is available, you tell me in the chemist shop. It's zero situation. Unless we are able to supply sufficient drugs which are dispensed to against the prescription. Imagine how many patients can get effective in one batch of tablet which actually proves to be a low in strength. Now recently in PGI Chandigarh, we have lost 5 patients who were put to surgery because of the bad quality of propofol injection which is used by anesthetists. Question is life and death. Think of your own self or your family member being put to that situation. And doctor is or anesthesia person is trying to put the right medicine, but the medicine itself is low quality and leads to death. How much trauma it can lead to. So what pharma industry environment is today, many of you have visited recently the industry, but let me give you a virtual tour.
Paramount Pharma Solutions
This state-of-the-art commercial-scale oral solid dosage and ophthalmic vial facility is 450 engineers and scientists. The site is equipped to handle new chemical entity launches, life cycle management programs, and generic products commercialization. 4 manufacturing blocks, each designed with unidirectional operation workflow. Provide a capacity of more than 3 billion units, with batch sizes from 10 kilos to 600 kilos. Pithampur stands out as the preferred site of manufacture for several leading global pharmaceutical firms. Successful supply of billions of units into North America, Europe, Japan, and South Asia.
He is Ajay Piramal, owner of the company. He started in a very small way, and now it is a huge multinational company. Today, pharma challenges are very, very interesting. The nature, why I showed you this, inside of the factory, not a single dust particle is tolerated. You can see everybody working in proper dress. That's why the institute sometimes insists you to put a lab coat when you are working, so that you get a habit of dressing up. And if it is an anti-cancer molecule or the formulation being developed, you have to wear an astronaut suit, so that you are not exposed to the anti-cancer drug. I will tell you an interesting story. That Indian company had launched a product in US, tablets, very successfully. Absolutely nice looking white tablets. They ventured out to get the approval for the same tablets which were registered in US, being sold in US for Japan market. They went to Japanese regulatory that we want to register our products for marketing in Japan. The interesting aspect of Japan is that Japanese love everything white. Now, at the face of it, when you see a tablet, it looks very nice, white. Even in India, when we take a tablet, it is all black particle free, everything free, by our eyes. But Japanese are expert in electronics. All these projection devices, which you see over here, which is showing this picture, this one, they are either Mitsubishi, Canon, Sony, or any other brand. All come from Japanese. They are Japanese brands. So what they did is, very interestingly, they had projection systems which were 3D. They could pick up 3D image and provide a place something to it, and it will be enlarging by 1 lakh times. Now this is maybe 10 times or 100 times. Maybe 1,000 times. It was projected 1 lakh times. And what they did is, sorry, we cannot accept your product. They rejected the law. 1 lakh times projection showed there were small fibers, small black particles which are not visible. Rejected the law. Now, whole of the production in the production area in pharma company has to be done under air handling units, which cuts off all these kind of particles which are unwanted particles in a formulation. So the type of the interior which I have shown you over here, pharma companies are trying their best to raise the quality of medicine which goes to the patient. It's a huge challenge for pharma people working in these areas. It's not easy, but for health of our family, members, for health of the citizens of this country, we have to accept that challenge, whatever comes from the regulatory, international regulatory. Now, there is a lately emerged preferred job avenues. I don't know, your seniors from here also might be taking some of these medicines. Sorry, jobs. This is a series of jobs that have come into, in a near, I will say, last 5 years that I'm seeing a lot of people getting into this. So I read business data analytics, advanced analytics and visualization, market intelligence, digital transformation, digital-led innovation, clinical trial design, pharmacovigilance, pharmaceutical brand management, supply chain solutions. Suddenly, lot of students are preferring to go into these kind of jobs. And new companies have come up which were previously unheard of. The hiring companies, we know about GSK or Novartis. Rest all companies are new to us except Infosys has started now taking pharma students. It never took the pharma students. Now it's a new scope that has emerged. These are all data science companies, consultancy companies. These are the students of NIPER of different departments. Student of pharmacy practice and receiving congratulations for joining eValue Sir, getting placed in eValue Sir, pharmaceutical technology, biotechnology in Exogene, again pharmacology, toxicology in Adam Met next. The person for pharmacovigilance, cognizant, NIPER Hyderabad, WNS, IQVIA, Polar, and Prior, which is a supply chain management company. From DIPSRU, student after student is joining these companies. Everywhere in pharma sector. The reason for attraction in this category is the salary that they pay. Data scientist salary in India is 11 lakh per annum. My dear students, why I am bringing this before you? This is an area where we are not providing any training, but students are taking these jobs. Let me tell you first what is data science.
What is data science? Data science is in fact a very broad discipline, which continues to expand with new data-related needs. Look, the main activities that a data scientist can perform, but not necessarily does in a business environment, are data collection and storage, data pre-processing, also referred to as data cleaning, data organization, data visualization and the creation of KPI dashboards, experimentation and A/B testing, statistical inference, building ML models, evaluating ML models, deploying ML models, and monitoring how ML models perform. Considering these activities, which are the duties that take the most time? Ask anyone in the industry and you will hear the same answer. They'll tell you they spend 80% of the time in an effort to make a hypothesis, find the necessary data, and clean it. Only 20% of the useful hours are dedicated to performing an analysis and interpreting the findings. And what about the key abilities a data scientist needs? Of course, the profession is multifaceted, but here's our top 5. Very solid knowledge of statistics and mathematics, computer science skills, business understanding, analytical abilities, and communication skills. Some of the most frequently used data science techniques are statistical inference, linear regression, logistic regression, machine learning techniques such as decision trees, support vector machines, clustering, dimensionality reduction, deep learning methods, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. However, we should remember that regardless of the method, a data scientist's end goal would be to make a meaningful contribution to the business, to create value for the company. We can distinguish among 2 main ways to do that. First, help a company make better decisions when it comes to their customers and employees. Netflix and YouTube are able to recommend you the content you want to see next. Your telecom operator knows when you are more likely to switch to a competitor, and banks use data science methods for fraud detection. The other major way in which data science can add value to a business is through the optimization of existing operations. For example, a logistics company might benefit from an improved delivery schedule. while a manufacturing firm could use predictive analytics to foresee maintenance needs without risking production stoppages. And that's it.
Now, the problem is that our syllabus doesn't provide skills related to this data science, and our students are going into this due to the salary. Again, I will come to that. It gives a good matrimonial perspective initially. But I was talking to my student who has joined Novartis recently, last batch. What is your job role? She says that my job role is that Novartis gets its product manufactured from third party. The whole of the data of production of third party manufacturer, timelines, total amount produced, data comes to me. I have to analyze data and generate a report. If there were any flaws in the whole way it has been visualized that manufacturing will go, timelines and everything, or there was some mismanagement in raw material procurement or something. So that company wants to have a continuous supply, timed supply to the patients, and they want to have a trend, data trend. How, whether there are problems more or less, or improvement is happening batch after batch or not. Now the question is, it is a good white collar job, giving you good salary, because these consultancy companies are getting good projects from overseas buyer, means clients. Novartis has its own in-house, GSK in-house, but all these other companies are consultancy companies. Question is, we are not providing these skills to students, that is data processing tools, because 80% is data collection, refinement of data, selecting the right data. And 20% is evaluation of data, time that goes into evaluation is 20%. We are not providing R language, Virtual Basic, SQL, SPSS, Python, Excel or E-views in detail as required by data science companies. You teachers need to, if you are anytime involved in revision of the syllabus which PCI wants to take over to do it in next by 2025, please suggest them to have more stronger emphasis if we want our students to take placements in these companies. Institutes are encouraging to do that. Like Bombay College of Pharmacy tied up with Navigo to offer a course, 3-month course to their students in data science jobs and charging 40,000 extra fees. Lot of like Excel program are offered online, and the students should do it if you are really interested in data science companies, so that you are ready to take the projects from the very first day, execute the project, and knowing that World Peace University students are coming with experience, coming with art of doing data science. The companies will tomorrow come in larger number to you to hire those students, your students. But experience, the competition is going to emerge soon from within the institute, because you have this MSc data science and big data analysis course, MSc course being developed within the institute. I don't know whether it's being offered already. So pharma sector, youth people are going to slowly, as institutions become aware of data science importance and the job prospects, new courses will be offered, and then pharma students will get into the back seat, because they are going to, because they are learning only data science. They'll get the advantage. But very interesting, you should read this YouTube, what she says. Why you should not be a data scientist. It's very interesting. Sara din, whole day, you sit on the computer, targeted timelines. It becomes a very challenging for a person. I'll tell you a very interesting story. I got retired, I thought now it's a time to give some emphasis on health. So I started going for a walk in the morning because I was not reporting in time. I could not go for walk today because I was to report here at, Yuvraj was to come to me, pick me up at 8:45. Normally my walk time is full sun. I go from home around 8:50 and come back 9:30. And in the neighborhood park, I take a 10 rounds walking around and then open gym. So, very interesting. There was a gentleman who used to come to do gym over there in the open gym, in the park. And he would do very strenuous exercises. So, there are implements, 10, 12 implements, they have exercises they have put over there. I will be doing just like this for shoulder, that you don't get frozen shoulder. There is a device which allows you to do like this. I was just doing like this, 100, 50. Said, what are you doing? Nonsense. Like this. And I found the difference doing that way. And this person is sweating. I asked him, what is your age? He said, I'm 75 years. He starts with 150 push-ups. And does every time I am. And he says, Saranjit, it's only due to your sedentary life that you are unable to do that strong exercises. And he had been, incidentally told his story that I have been Mr. Chandigarh in my young age. And he's still at 75, totally, completely healthy. No tummy out, nothing. Absolutely fit. This is what is going to happen if you are sitting on the computer all day. Beware of it. That's why this lady says, I have lost one of mine. Working, sitting on the computer, straining my eyes whole day. This is what is data scientist job. Another category of jobs where I want to beware you, which requires students in large numbers. These are medical coders, medical billing assistants, medical transcription assistants, drug safety associates. Very interesting job profile which has got created. Company Advant Med, we are hiring 300 plus medical coders. Company originating from Santa Clara in US. They are saying hiring 300 plus medical coders. What is medical coding? Career path ahead, future of medical coding in India. What we require, B.Pharm, M.Pharm, biomedical engineer, BSc, MSc chemistry, biochemistry, biotechnology, biological sciences, medicine, chemistry, microbiology. Anyone qualified of any kind. And I've seen even MBBS they are saying, BDS they are saying, higher. Opportunities in medical coding. We improve the health of the healthcare system. Now the issue is what they do. What is medical coding? The doctor in US is seeing a patient, diagnosis, writes prescription. He has his on his mobile, either with along with clinical pharmacist, the pharmacogenomic data of that person, genomic data of that person. The pharmacist look into the interactions possible, the right dose that is required. And because every person in US is insured, health insured, customarily it has to be done. These people, the prescription that is written by the doctor, dispensing done by the pharmacist, has to be reimbursed by the insurer. And the insurer feeds in data by coding. They don't write full names. What our they are expecting Indians to do is open a call center type facility, have our students sitting over there of any degree they have passed out. For American citizens, they are doing the coding over here, and that is a job on offer. And our campuses, private institutions are rushing for it. Virtual pool campus drive or advancement organized by Sherpur Education, HRPK Institute of Pharmacy Education Research. All students in Sherpur and surrounding areas are invited for pool campus placement. Eligibility criteria is B.Pharm, M.Pharm, D.Pharm, or BSc, MSc, BATA, BioChem, whatever, life sciences or whatever. The question is the competition you are doing. If they are hiring 300 in one go, 400 in one go, 150 in one go, now the chances of promotion decreases as the more number of students are taken in a batch. Because if you have in a farm analysis department where only 10 analysts are working, the chances of promotion are faster than 300 students where you are competing. The other important thing is, again, 3-Gen medical coding Pune. So, mega campus drive, 103 openings for medical coding, January 15, 2009. What is the salary on? I am beware, making you beware. Don't get into trap. It is the responsibility of our institution, right, the students, what is good or bad, what is not. Do you want a student who has spent 5 lakh on education to do B.Pharm to get a job of 1.8 lakh? Students is very important to you also. Don't get into the trap. Read yourself. Very interesting. It was put on LinkedIn. And I said, how you can take your country up, not by this. This is exploitation and not meant. You cannot come at 12 country doing just cheap labor for other citizens of West or other countries. So, my advice to the front leaders, you have to create a mechanism in your institution so that students know what is good or bad among the jobs on offer, clinic placements and so on. It's the responsibility of teachers. Students, they are not yet clear, as they were not clear after plus 2. 51% students were not knowing what is my choice of job or what the profession which I should enter. Other than parents ने बोल दिया कि डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, वहाँ पे it continues like that. The core pharma jobs which are meant in pharmaceutical industry, researching a new molecule, pharmacist duty in the hospital, they are always be available because sickness all over the world is increasing. Diseases are taking over until unless you are healthy by profile. And there are health issues that are cropping up. I was reading very interesting article. It was saying that after 14 years, when you from birth to 14 years, your body develops. Your organs develop. You are in a development phase. Your body becomes adolescent at 14 years. And then adult by our definition is 18 years. They say that your decay of your body and decay of your organs start happening after 14 years of growth. And it goes down 1% by every year. This is the mechanism given by God, set up by God, clock set by God, that 80 to 85%, see, we have lost Queen Elizabeth. She was 96 years. Why we lost her? 14 years to 96 years was 82 years. It means somewhere her organ efficiency lost by 82% in 82 years. And she was the one which was best. Doctors available, food quality, everything. It's a nature's dawn progression. We cannot halt it, but keeping a healthy profile, we can slow it. The other day, question was being asked to me by Mr. Yuvraj or Neeraj, why people are getting stressed out and getting heart attacks at 40 years of age. Because we get into bad jobs. We get into stressful jobs. So my friends, beware. You have a career before you. And choosing the right career, take help of your teachers. And teachers should also be aware, not aware, but be aware of what are the best options. We need to have individual counseling of each student. Look into his interest. I will go to the next level of discussion tomorrow. This is the low level discussion which I am doing today. Next level of discussion I can have. So essentiality for securing good job is just not focus on education, also on skill development and on becoming an all-round person. Today I tell you, any person who comes for hiring will not select you on your marks. You may be a topper, but communication skills, I will tell you what kind of skills. First, let me give you what is a skill. The abilities that one possesses. There may be natural ability, may be generated at any stage of time in your life. Let me tell you, till my university, when I joined E-Farm, even up to F-Farm, I never had been on a stage in my life. And till masters, I never been on a stage. No extracurricular. I could not do sports, participate in sports due to my leg problem. And due to the sickness, persistent sickness that I had in my childhood, I had lost confidence. Didn't come on the stage and participate in extracurricular activities. Very modern student. But the moment I was forced to defend my master thesis, to make a presentation before the audience, where my all teachers, revered teachers, gurus were sitting, very senior pharma professionals. And I won that gold medal to do that presentation. There was no looking back. Today, 567 inviting lectures, which I've delivered all over the world. This can happen suddenly, also in your life. Never feel depressed about it. Be always positive. Make your effort 100%. But you are not able to secure success. Success maybe after 5 years. Wait for it. The question is, what are the skill types? One is the domain general skills. Life skills and soft skills. Today, national education policy is talking of lot of life skills. Take the students. I tell you, my son is a pharma guy. He did MBA Farm Tech from the Simon Institute of Management. The first course they started. He recently went for another MBA to an institute in France. And they said that I was surprised at their way of education. What they will do? Their motto was that if you are sitting in a class like you people are sitting, and you always sit in the class based on your friendship with left and right person. 2 or 3 have fixed your seats, you will sit together. And maybe after 4 years, you are not knowing other students in the class so closely. They said, because it was international MBA, they said you are the CEOs of the world, future CEOs of the world. You should know each other very closely. Every 15 days, these people were put to forcibly that you will leave France, go to another country. As a whole group of 150. Simple reason that if 150 people have to move out, there has to be arrangement of travel, there has to be arrangement of stay, arrangement of food, arrangement of what you are going to do, the activities over there. Once you start with that group, you come closer to each other. This is what is life skill. So the institutions abroad have really got this soft skills and life skills, real management in the field. Then we have domain specific abilities useful for a specific job which you are being taught in the education. I'm just closing. Now friends, if an all-rounder personality, you have to develop as an all-rounder personality, you have to focus on this. This is what national education policy is insisting upon. That is what, after Neeraj, if he has to implement national education policy, the main, whatever the features, new features, he has to focus on the soft skills and the life skills. So education plus skill, you should develop as an all-rounder personality. You are going to be sure short getting a good job and get selected fast for the So to conclude, pharma is a sunrise profession where you can touch lives of millions of patients. And if you have good all-round development happening around you, you will get a respectable place. There is no pharma graduate unemployed anywhere in the country. So I will discuss tomorrow at much higher level another interesting facet. Now this is a diamond, multiple facet. So one facet I have discussed today, another larger facet I will discuss tomorrow, more interesting. So best wishes and Jai Hind. Reserve some claps for tomorrow. Reserve claps for tomorrow.
Thank
So
you
I can take questions now, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for an enlightening session. Now, interaction session is open to all faculty members as well as for students. If any doubts or difficulties, please address sir or ask sir.
Yes, please.
Anything regarding your career, job opportunities, anything you can ask sir.
It's about your career. You are not asking questions even of interesting job. And I think put back everything what you learned over the last from 1 round. And I mean, like 4 years to
shying. I am one of you. I can come and sit over there. If you want to be comfortable to ask questions like I am a student over there. Talking to friends.
So who will break the ice?
Yeah, exercise your hand.
So Amol will start with you and then we'll
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time. So my question is, we are contributing to the nation as well as to the society a lot, but it is not percolating the people. What we are doing for them. So how to promote our contribution to the last person of this world?
Do we need to do it? Do we need to do it?
At some extent, because now pharmacists and pharmacy profession people are only aware that they just sell the medicine.
Question is, I'm leaving my presentation. Take it to +1, +2 students in the schools. Show them this presentation. I think they will get convinced. It's only that we are not able to convince them at that young age. No, second. I was, sit down please. Then wait, will take a second. I was at Leela Hospital, Leela Hotel, Mumbai. And had gone for a conference, came back. I saw some shooting going on. And it was Akshay Kumar, Sunil Shetty, Resh Rawal. And the shooting was going for Fir Hera Feri. I just spent half an hour looking into what is going on. Very interesting situation developed that they had changed all the cars that were standing over there, pasting paper on the each number plate with Dubai's number plates, the style of how it goes in Dubai. They created the whole, within the hotel, a scene of Dubai. Even the building names were changed. Within the hotel, they had some buildings which are hall and other thing, exhibition hall, whatever, they changed it. Actors were only invited when there was actual scene to be filmed. Whole of the preparation that was going on was done by camera setting people, camera people, and all other supporting staff. Do you feel that everybody can become an actor, whom you sometimes treat as a god? There are huge number of people to bring those actors in the limelight. Now, if you say that, if all of this class says, "मैंने तो actor ही बनना है," then there will be no film screened anywhere. Do we undermine the role of the supporting people over there who help to make a film? There are producers, there are financiers, there are and there's a long list. Always singers, everybody. Question is, do they promote themselves? The supporting people promote themselves? No. They are paid for a job, they are performing their responsibility, they are feeding their children. It are few fortunate 100 people who are in the limelight before the public. But do we disrespect what is being done by the whole team that helps to make a film? We may be supporting and not coming before a patient directly. But in US, as a clinical pharmacist, they are more in contact with the patient whole day. How much dose you have taken is not of nursing, it is pharmacy. You need to see that everyone has taken the
They look into the prescription. Doctor might have visited and changed the prescription. Again, he will come and see the prescription. They are more in contact with the patients. Diploma in pharmacy people are more in contact with the patients or public than we people as pharmaceutical scientists. But the question is my satisfaction. Mara will tell you what is the concept of inspired career. I am an academic. Okay, I am not in public limelight, largely. I am not an actor. I am not famous as Amitabh Bachchan. But that moment I came from Leela Hotel, my room down, outside the hotel where the shooting was going on, I was feeling, what are these people? They are doing their job. I have done my job to give a lecture at a conference very, very efficiently. Am I less than them? It was a feeling. I really got this feeling. I had done I am in limelight today at the conference, everybody respected me. They raise hand like you have stood up and given standing ovation. What I have to do? God has put me to that profession. To serve public, larger public, to education. And I am doing my best. I am praying to God to let me deliver my best. So let us not get into that mold of mind that we are not in front of public and coming in front of public is everything. If you see the public, ये जो photo लगी है ना, I don't know this gentleman till now. I don't know this gentleman now. Maybe those people I know. Doesn't mean that they have less contribution in society. Good fellow. Have not done that help thousands and thousands of students get education had they not set up this facility. You know, mind, how you really set your mind. I am doing my 100% devotion. For me, that is all. That's the best thing I can do. Help India grow. I have done good science. I have set protocols for doing good science, which is respected all over the world, invited all over the world. I have been WHO member in the West. I have got recognition all over the world by board journals. I have taken India by putting my best students in best of University of Washington Seattle, one after another my students went over there. It was the first time that a non-US PhD was taken as postdoc in University of Washington in pharmacy department, which professor interviewed in her lab. I took the first student. After that, he next year came to my room to select. And those people are now becoming authorities in their field. I will tell you the situation tomorrow and show the picture of those. I don't agree with this, that being exposed to public is total what you require. No. Then the whole world will be only of 20, 40 people will remain, rest everybody should vanish from the earth. Do you agree now? Are you convinced? This is what we are not able to give the right feeling to our children, our own children, our students. Everybody, every small effort goes to build up a nation. These students, stand up. This student has joined this university. Don't you feel that you are not nurturing him to do wonders in future? God bless you, sir. Everyone, yeah. This is human relationship. Why Dr. Neeraj had 20, 40 professors in due course of his education, from school to maybe hundreds. He has chosen me alone and to come and deliver me before you. And proudly saying that he had been my mentor. And yes, I was very angry when he sent me border studies syllabus papers. And there was no full stop where it was required. There is no comma where it was required. There is a quality. I was firing. He said, the people whom I assigned the job is not doing the job right. I said, you are the final authority to push it to the academic council. You also develop that knack. So this is mentorship, which you mentioned. We are pharmaceutical analysis. I have been in pharmaceutical analysis all my life. Why a topper of GPAT and topper of NIPER test chose over pharmaceutics, which has never happened in India, to come to Department of Pharm Analysis. Persistently, year after year, they used to join my department. Because of the insistence, accuracy and precision is everything. Can you imagine that we used to publish a paper, 20 drafts were prepared, then only the paper we published. That effort. You have to make it up. You have to spend your life. That was what gentleman was 75 years was saying. Your life had been sedentary. You are not able to do exercise. I said, don't worry. I have will to maintain my health so that I can come and travel and come. I can show you. Just now I give you an example. See over here. Better over here. My other day, sister-in-law came. Hey, what is happening? Your color is good over here. Suddenly blackened out. 2 दिन से मैं सोप से रगड़ रहा हूँ कि कल मैंने टी-शर्ट डाल के आनी है तो मैं जरा ब्लैक ना कर दिया. This is because I was exposing myself to sun for 1.5 hours. Why I should do that? So that I have little longer life to come before you people. Sir, effort. हाँ जी प्लीज. कल तक वेट कर सकते हैं सर आप? Can you wait till tomorrow? Sure. If I start discussing my presentation tomorrow, it will take away the charm of the tomorrow's meeting.
So that is also there.
Yeah. Yes, please.
As you know that India is a leading country in pharma, so we still are in the developing phase, you know that. So there are many opportunities still.
Ask the question so that I will discuss it. Okay. The person is pointing to the front side. Backwards they can't understand.
Yeah. So my question to sir is, so we know that India is a leading country in pharma and it is still in the developing phase. So no doubt we have many opportunities. So if this is the case, then why is there is a situation of brain drain, like people, like students or people moving to other countries for settling and for the higher education? So why do most of the Indians have to expect a comparable low salary than other fields or countries?
Now, first main question, which is linked to low salary. Very good question. Very simple reason is that we are still a developing nation. We have done good in IT sector, pharmacy, supply medicines. And I have seen very large part of our students, when I was dealing with my students, who is coming from all over the country as a national student, best students of the twin exams. Many of them, I asked them to join the test year. Once they were doing MS from, treated their analysis. They said, sir, no. I have poor patient, has poor parents, who cannot afford my education. I need to financially support them, I want to find this. My push was, who gets the best strategies? We are a society, fortunately, which take care of others. We are a family level. Although now things are changing, we have divorces now, we have patients, but our setup, younger generation is going to stay that I want to warn you. Abroad, it is a very different situation. Western world, they will have 5 marriages happening during their lifetime. They are impatient. They are not compatible. Okay. Only one incompatibility. The bathroom usage is not compatible to my usage at divorce system. That is the classic examples available in the situation of divorce. We have lot of students who prefer to work in India. All family couples, they respect their parents. They want to go to them, make them courses. I agree with what they want to do. Recently, 21 batch students prefer to join Dr. Reddy in the office. Now they are all saying, give me recommendation, I want to go abroad for PhD. They said, I have want to do that, I will not give you recommendation before 2 years old. Because if you give before 2 years, they say, NIPER will come harder. But why I want them to do it? One is, if that would not have happened, how that the Google CEO would have been. He can have multiple, now 6, 7 CEOs of the world, major companies are doing. How many they help to establish facilities and offices in India? How many students they are hiring? Our young people they are hiring. So one person, if he goes abroad, gets into that club, will touch the lives of another 1,000 and 1,000. Dr. Neeraj, our friend, they have come from abroad, came back, give you the best education. So of course, the quality of education is different. We don't have international quality institutions in India. Why? I tell you, my son got into INSEAD France for MBA. 3 lakhs he spent on Harvard professor to prepare a CV. Okay? Didn't get a chance to join that. Came down to INSEAD France, which eventually was declared next year, not his career, but next year as global business. I was always asking him, that was 10-month MBA, 80 lakh course. Where is what is happening in your exam? The answer was very interesting. Papa, who cares for exams over here? They treat us as future CEOs of the world. are taught in Harvard, Wharton, and whatnot. Ivy League is. Now, why I should stop my son to go from abroad to have that level of education? He, being a pharma person, was offered 1.25 CR salary in Boston Consulting Group in Brazil. तो कहता फिर मैं CEO कैसे बनूं? Simple, if they said I am going to be CEO of the world, companies, how will I become CEO if I am working under somebody? Today he has a 600 crore company in India. He came back to drive growth in India. Do you take my answer? Understand what your question was and answer to that. I want you to take best education. Stay there, get into the leadership position if you are able, or come back to India and serve. Simple. Change the India to a 12th country. I want all of you to do it. Maybe 50% come back to do.
Sir?
Why you came back? Please. Hey, everybody has a story. They have worked abroad, best education came back, they have their stories. Why did what was there? I tell you, my student, tomorrow I will show his photo. He was taken as postdoc. I told you the story that the professor, he was the first non-US PhD to be taken in the University of Washington as postdoc. Now he worked over there as postdoc, got into promotion as assistant professor. Now he's associate professor, where he got millions of dollars in grants on invitation to join Washington State University in Spokane as an associate professor. He asked me, sir, should I go? Like Neeraj always asks me, sir, what is my future if I join and move from X to Y? He asked me. I had a set of questions for him. He said, this is my lifetime chance that I'm getting associate professorship in US within 5 years. Otherwise, always people get it chance. What brightness you show. There is a system of organ bank in US which we don't have existing in India. Now, if you have to do hi-fi research, which is going to help larger population in the world, not in India, larger population in the world, basic science, that organs, 1,000 livers are available. Cadaver livers. There's a system, they collect eyes, they collect kidneys, there are kidney bank, there's a liver bank. What is going with those 1,000 liver banks? He's taking slices of those, and they are from population, different populations. 0 to 18 years. Okay, newborn child to US abortion expired 18 years. Those liver samples have been collected with ethical agreement with the parents or the family. Now, what they do is take a slice of that liver, subject it to quantitative proteomics to know what are the levels of gut metabolism enzymes in livers of different populations. Gender, different, let us say, Caucasian, Asian, American, whatever populations. 1,000 livers of different. They found out very interesting case that paracetamol, if I put precise dosage to a newborn child, which is 1 day old, somehow has got fever due to any reason, he has to give paracetamol. Paracetamol is mainly metabolized through CYP enzyme in the nervous system. In children, there are no CYP enzymes. He found out that the majority are SALT enzymes, there are no CYP enzymes. Would be a study on livers for different population levels. Now you tell me, a lady, stand up please. So he is into a field. We are predictive. Based on quantitative proteomics data, we can do predictive. Now you think, how many newborns in this world will be helped through his basic science? Had we in India would have been able to that contribute of that magnitude, because we could have liver banks or organ banks in India. So, given a chance, jump to it. Other student of mine, I'm showing you tomorrow photo of the class. He said, I'm not going to placement. I'm not sitting at placement. I want to do PhD in best of the place abroad. Committed. Inspired. Got it? Now he's in AstraZeneca, Europe. That is for colon delivery. To understand the colon, how to both JIT to understand DIT, how to make drugs in each colon and absorption. That is a project which is a trust area of European government. European Union. We don't have that kind of project over here. So why I should hold somebody to contribute at a larger society level, which have all the dimension of the only thing is you have to develop a commitment. Why I brought this pharmacist, pharmaceutical scientist, industrial pharmacist, to give you choices on windows. What is actually to make you help have choices. From that discovery, development to marketing, or pharmacy. You have chosen, you have taken admission, but make best use of that, whatever your training is. And I tell you, it is not, you cannot move further. My son had been a pharmacist, offered that service, but he has moved from pharma to some other stuff. So establishing a 600 crore company, finding a gap in healthcare system, and in 6 years, 7 years, he said 600 crores. Another 5 years, his goal to 2000. एक ही काम करता है वो. Papa, you are driving 25-year-old Santro. I went to Hyderabad. मेरे सामने, hey, is it Mercedes showroom? Bring a car for try for my car. मैं उसको हाथ जोड़ता हूँ. मुझे Santro. Because I'm very used to drive 25 years, I'm driving that car. And Mercedes picks up speed 0 to 90, 100, 120 kilometers in 10 seconds or 100 seconds. I can't really run that car. Drive that car. Tension है. अपने parents को सारे comfort देना चाहता है. He has recently gone to Japan to his business. Came back. Papa, I have brought you t-shirt for you. Best one. Best one. ये क्या? मैं पब्लिक में आ रहा हूँ अच्छी शर्ट डालते आऊँगा. मैं तो कोट में डालता शर्ट दिखा दिया. आज मैं आ रहा हूँ शर्ट दिखा दिया. कोट डाल देता तो शर्ट की फ्लेवर क्या मिलता. यस, गिफ्ट मी शर्ट्स. तो मैं इसके बाद कोट में डाल. मैं बोला था इसको. मैं तो टी-शर्ट मुझे गिफ्ट किया. मैं कल टी-शर्ट डाल के आऊँगा. क्यों नहीं? Papa, you can lead, you can make your family rich like anything. Pharma sector, health sector allows you. If you are setting your goal clear. I talk everything. I know you are going to have few questions. इसके मैं लॉन्गिश आंसर दूँ. Is that? Second part. Tomorrow. Yes, please. Loud.
So, am I audible? Yes. Yes.
So I'm from third year right now, and my aim is to I would see myself after next 2 years sitting in NIPER Mohali and studying.
See, I have not been a student like you and there was no NIPER in existence. Man, I had to aspire going to that institute. I have not been a person who has ever opened a coaching center for GPAT exam or NIPER exam. Students come, we entertain them, we teach them, make them some level of quality and send them. I'm a person who finalized this year GPAT paper. But I will not disclose you. It's total 100% confidential. I should not have told you this even. Yaar, itna nahi chahiye. So I have not told you this. I'm not supposed to tell you that I have been involved. नहीं तो आप क्या करोगे? Saranjit Singh को पकड़ के जेल में डाल पकड़ लो बाहर नहीं. Not allowed to go from Pune. So, my friend, set up your goal that you have to get into NIPER. Consult your seniors who can score the seat, what effort they made, what were the GPAT questions, relationship of the question they are available on the net. What I tell you what to do. Interesting. NIPER test we started holding them. From the very first time we took the student in for admission to NIPER, we asked our all teachers to prepare a question bank. We prepare a question bank. And next year, once we declared the result, took the exam, declared the result, we found that our own students have started coaching. Okay. The other thing is that there was a practice that we found out that malafide thing is happening, that institutions are putting 10 dummy students to appear in the exam. And those 10 students have been told to memorize 10 questions. They are not supposed to attempt all questions. To attempt 10 questions so that our question bank is leaked out. It was a real interesting information for us that our paper has been leaked out. Because to prepare a set of questions is a huge task for a teacher. Your question has to be exact. Answer should be exact. It should not be very, very confusing. When I was finalizing the GPAT question paper, the requirement was that top 25% questions should be such that only 10% of people will be able to answer. 50% questions should be of middle quality. And the rest of the 25% will be easy questions. This is what is the parameter setting within National Testing Agency for setting any question paper. And there should be questions which are of comprehension, which are of quantitative type, which are of memory, memorizing type. So they have categorized it. So each question setter has to tell in which category this question falls. So when you have to prepare for either GPAT or NIPER exam, remember to put a good score, you have to target the higher 25% also tough questions for which you have to do an extra study. Okay, Now, GPAT question paper is set by all the teachers across the country, multiple teachers across the country. And they change every year to set up a new model. We set 2 sets of question papers. They will select one. And maybe one they will use 3 years after, which was not offered to the students. So they will get a question banks. That's why if some leakage happens, they are ready with another set. So what you do is, if you have to really prepare for NIPER test, it is also objective type. What our students did, they knew what I teach in the class. Okay, there is a student known as Ujjwal Kole. He has Ujjwal classes for NIPER exams and other things. What they did was, they knew what questions I discuss in class, what I teach in the class. He knows that Saranjit cannot go beyond that. So he knows that Dr. Saranjit will have the questions back prepared through this only. So that was an advantage for NIPER student become coaches. So if you are good enough, intelligent enough to self-preparation, which you feel so that I may be needing help, that the person who is knowing that this is the spectrum of the type of questions that come in the examination. But GPAT question paper is always on the net after the exam. It's visible these days. So you can have sample question paper. Do your exercise effort. NIPER is no different examination. Okay. Why we have set up the NIPER exam over GPAT? Let me tell you very frankly. Being a premier institute, we want to have a second filter. From one filter, where after GPAT you get AICT fellowship from any institution you join, we have put a second filter. Just to have a better quality students. Now we have seen, we have done some statistics that the toppers of GPAT, plenty of them are topper in NIPER exams. But there are exceptions. GPAT 600 rank comes to second rank in NIPER test. There are exceptions also. And be an exception. If you get low rank in GPAT but prepare NIPER test more, give emphasis to come on the top rank. The choice of NIPERs, where institution, if you get a good marks, you can come to NIPER Mohali. Top ranked students prefer NIPER Mohali. Then other NIPERs are developing well now. Government is providing 100 crores to each new NIPER to equip with new instruments. The money which was to be provided, and we were privileged as a single NIPER in the country, that advantage of us is lost. We are getting less money, they get first money first. The 100 crores we still have not got to recoup our old equipment, which new NIPERs already have got. Their equipment absolutely fresh. Only thing is, the difference that NIPER was at this place, we had our faculty who were all postdocs from best of the world labs. Then we hired them as assistant professors. There they are all Indians and some from industry trained or from abroad, but largely they are locally bred people. Faculty is locally bred. NIPER Mohali had that advantage of very high intellectual level of input provided by our faculty who was trained abroad. That's what it is again linked with the same question he was asking. I want all of you to go abroad, have good training, come and join NIPERs. And this institution like this, leading institution, to give the best education, to develop their vision in the institute and help the institute develop to their vision. So I have no direct answer to you to give you what exactly is success story for joining NIPER. I have not given exam. I have set only 10 or 50 question papers at the most in different time periods, 50 question sets, multiple times. But sometimes when I'm setting question paper, I also have to go to Google, but reframe that question to put in another manner what I feel like. So transform question. That is best I have done. So sorry, I may not be able to answer you 100% or to help you to come to NIPER and join NIPER. My emphasis was not to help you join NIPER, but to help the students who have joined NIPER reach Connect. That was my objective. Anyone else? Yes. I wish to go to other room to answer their questions. So anyone now still having any doubt in the mind, we will have a discussion tomorrow also. Be ready with the question if possible tomorrow. Raise question if you are. See, now let me give you a finishing touch over here. With this group. I have asked stupid questions to my teachers all my life. And that has been a success. That has been a life skill for me. I used to ask questions, everybody used to laugh. It happened with me in 1994, I joined NIPER as a first employee. 1997, our director asked, what research will you do in NIPERs? We were ready with the equipment, everything, all course set, procedure, everything set. 4 years we did. In 2007, he asked us, now what will you, what research program you will take up in NIPER? People are talking high-fi, they come from abroad, I will do this molecular biology, do this. When my turn came, I said stability testing and impurity testing. Everybody started laughing. What is this research area? Our director was from Siba Gayagi and Bruce Research Center, discovering new drugs. He knew about the relevance of Dr. Saranjit Singh, what he is talking. He snubbed everybody. And later, without my asking, he called me at 5 o'clock once in the evening. Said, Saranjit, there is in ministry 6.5 crores available. Do you want that money to buy something? I said, I am yearning to have that much money. I have to buy major equipment, hyphenated LCMS, LCMR system. I got 6.5 out of 6.5, 5.5 CR in my lab without my applying. Because he understood that he is doing regulatory-oriented research, which is important in pharma industry. Another director came, he said, I have 1 CR, you want to buy something? I said, yes. He said, in the center instrumentation laboratory, the purchase is going for 1. Go to the purchase committee chairman, ask them to multiply and make it 1 plus 1. That way I got the equipment, which were gifted to me without asking. People apply, wait, rejected. Your life is made when you commit yourself to a cause. So I have been very lucky and fortunate that I never to struggle for setting my research lab. I had 10 crore worth within my department, and I very interesting. Best topper student was coming to my department in farm analysis. I was the lone teacher, HOD, everything alone, single person. 27 years, I was single person teaching and preparing students. So I had individuality, single person run department. Get 10 crore equipment available to my students day and night to work with hands. What more I could have done? myself in the world, recognizing. Okay, thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Every individual I should see, able to see tomorrow in the hall.
Sir, vote of thanks is there.
The talk is in the office building in Florida. That is a bigger hall. And we'll be meeting there tomorrow at
Students, please settle down till sir come back.
Thanks यहाँ करनी है कि
there by 9.
नहीं अब ये कहती थैंक्स
Prasaya Thane. I request technical team to play Prasaya.